we are going to be moving into identifying emerging crypto threats and how to spot them. We are joined by Calum Young from SwiftX. We're going to do a little bit of a deep dive. Well, Calum is going to do a little bit of a deep dive into threats and scams, how they emerge in the digital assets ecosystem, how they've evolved, and even perhaps maybe a little bit about AI-driven scams. But I will leave it up to you, Calum, to take the stage and help us understand how these scams are taking place.
Thank you, Amy Rose, and hello, everyone. Yes, I am Calum Young. I'm the verifications team lead here at SwiftX in Brisbane. So I loved your talk before, actually, Alex, and I'm going to be speaking a little bit more on one particular type of scam, and I'm actually going to show you a scam take place. I was driving home last night, and I had an idea of something I could do to tweak my presentation a little bit today, and luckily my boss, Gabby Lewis, the head of fraud and financial crime, who a lot of you will know, I called her and she was on board immediately with the idea. So let me just share my screen here. This is the journey of a scam victim. So we're actually going to go through this together today. So how scammers coach their victims into sending cryptocurrency and what we as an exchange are doing to stop it. What are you going to see today? You're going to see common conversations that our customers are having, and then you're going to see me get scammed by my boss. I want to take you a little bit more in depth. Obviously, Alex before just covered a lot of the types of scams. I'm going to take you through a romance/investment scam that Gabby and I have put together in WhatsApp. This is a genuine conversation between the two of us. Obviously, she's not trying to scam me, but this was a script I put together so you can see the kind of conversations that we at the exchange see. And then I'm going to follow the scam and you'll see how it takes place. So this is an example of what someone's profile would look like. They've got an AI picture of, they'll either be a young woman or a young man. They're professional looking. They want to have that, real trust building behind their profile. And here's a conversation that we had. So I'll take you through what is actually happening psychologically behind this. So as you can see, this is Gabby talking and me replying. Gabby the scammer, me the victim. Hey babe, how was your mum's birthday? Obviously, babe suggests that there's some kind of a romantic connection. And how was your mum's birthday suggests that they're actually talking on a much more personal level. They're really, there's been a lot before this conversation took place. Me as the victim. Hello, my love. It was good. She loved my gift. How was your big meeting? And obviously, this is me. I've been paying attention to what my scammer has been talking to me about. She's got a big meeting happening. I'm intrigued by it. I want to know more. It went well. We're just reviewing the market. Things are moving fast right now. This is the first subtle suggestion of urgency. And we've identified a private opportunity that's been performing really well. This is a bit vague, but this is to test the waters for the victim to see if they're going to respond with curiosity, which I absolutely did. I took the bait. Oh yeah, what is it? Again, they stick with the vagueness, not to bore you. They're not trying to press this as a great opportunity, not to bore you, but it's a pre-market share allocation in a tech company, not available to the public yet. Very vague, but I'm intrigued. My team has early access to it and it's going to make a lot of money. There's that kind of in for me as the victim. I have a personal connection to the one person whose team has early access to this great opportunity. I normally don't share this, but I actually think you could benefit from it. Again, I'm intrigued, but I really don't know how it works. So I'm explaining that to my scammer. That's okay. If you want to make some money, I can guide you step by step. Here's the scammer taking my hand, guiding me through it. It's very simple. I'll personally be allocating a very large portion of my portfolio to it. That's me saying, okay, well, this successful woman that I'm talking to is going to be putting a huge portion of her portfolio into it. This must be good. And here's another suggestion that they've been talking for a while. Do you still have the crypto app I suggested you download? These scammers, they obviously don't try to do things all in one go. This has been a seed planted a while ago. They've created, they've got me to download an app. I don't know what I'm doing with it yet. The conversation's continued and now we've hooked back to this app being downloaded. Yeah, I have it. I've not used it yet though. Perfect. Lots of love. You're trying to keep that romantic trust there. To save you any hassle, I'll get a Bitcoin wallet address for the share platform where the investment is managed. Wow, okay. That's so helpful of you. Thank you, scammer. Thank you for taking my hand and guiding me through this journey. You'll just send your Bitcoin there. Sounds good. I trust you. Is it safe? Ironically, I'm asking my scammer if something is safe. Of course, like I say, I'm personally heavily invested in it. There's that reconfirmation of the heavily investment into this project, which is bound to make lots and lots of money. And I wouldn't recommend anything I'm not doing myself. Okay, well, perfect. And then scammers will obviously get you to test with something, what they refer to as a small amount, $1,000. That's just throwaway money, just throw away $1,000. And that's where the seed gets built to start building and increasing, with bigger and bigger values. And, you'll be able to see returns quickly. Cool. I'm not going to be waiting around to start making money. This is going to happen fast. And here's me confirming, obviously, I've seen how successful you've been so far. So she's obviously been presenting herself as very successful with cars, houses, money, boats, whatever it might be. This is a conversation that's obviously culminating at this point. And here's the romantic connection continuing. I owe so much of my success to you. So she's, trying to keep that romantic bond there. And then here's the steps, and we're actually going to go through them right now. So for those of you who are brand new to crypto, I'm actually going to place a trade of Bitcoin. I'm going to then send it to a wallet address. And obviously we don't have the time today, but I would then show you if, our controls for some reason had let this through. I'd then go on to show you how easy it is to trace these transactions on what's called the blockchain so that you can actually find out where the money's going and hopefully get law enforcement involved to stop it. As an exchange, we have a lot of controls in place to stop this kind of thing. We can see when people are vulnerable and likely falling for a scam. But in this case, I'm going to let the transfer go through so you can see what would happen if a scam victim's funds did leave. So give me 1 second, I'm just going to change my screen. This is the SwiftX platform. So I'm using a test account here, but I am going to be using real money to the grand value of $22.05. I'm going to purchase some Bitcoin and I'm going to send it to an external wallet. Now, for those of you who don't know what a wallet is or what an address is in a wallet, is crypto's answer to a BSB and account number. It is, if I was sending you dollars, I would get your BSB and your account number and I would send it from my bank to yours and you would receive it. And only you would receive it because nobody else has your BSB and account number. Crypto works on the same way. If you have a unique wallet address and I want to send you cryptocurrency, I get your wallet address and I send it to you and only you have access to it. I don't have any access to it. Same way that I don't have access to your bank account once I send you that money. The only way for that money to come back to me is if you send it back to me. So that's what we're going to do right now. So I am going to make a purchase of Bitcoin. So we're going to follow the steps that Gabby, my scammer, has told me to do. I've got to buy Bitcoin and then I've got to send it out. So let's trade. Let's buy. Oh, give me 1 second. I'm so sorry. My screen is covering what I'm trying to do. I'm going to buy Bitcoin. Give me 1 second. I'm so sorry. I'm using the web browser rather than my app. There we go. Perfect. It's because I'd pre-populated this earlier. So I'm swapping from my Australian dollars to Bitcoin. I'm just going to use my whole balance. I'll review and I'll place the order. So now as a scam victim, I have placed the order. I now own Bitcoin. Now, I presented this something similar a couple of weeks ago at Interbank because I wanted to show the banks how once their customers' funds have been sent to a crypto exchange, that's not necessarily the money lost. Once the funds hit our exchange, they're still in the customer's name. That's what's happening right here. The funds still haven't been lost, even though I've converted them from dollars to Bitcoin. This Bitcoin is now still on the SwiftX platform. So if the banks had got in touch with us to say that they were concerned that their customer was a victim of a scam, we still have the funds here. And obviously they've not been lost to the scammer yet. The next step is where they'll be lost to the scammer. So if I go back to the dashboard here, you'll see, if you saw before, it was all blue. That was Australian dollars. We're now in orange, which is Bitcoin. My portfolio value has dropped slightly. I was $22.05. Now, that's not necessarily how volatile Bitcoin is at the moment. It may be part of it, but there is a trade fee that we charge. So that's what the balance has dropped. So now I'm going to withdraw my Bitcoin. This is a wallet address that I added previously. Now, under the scam circumstances, I may not have labeled this as my own. We will see scammers encourage their victims to label it something that is seemingly personal to them. So, I may have labeled it Calum MetaMask because that's my name. Some scammers won't think that far ahead, and they will get them to say, send it to me, Gabby, or send it to whatever it is, the name of the actual the scammer themselves. We have a lot of controls in place to obviously, pick up when someone is being scammed. And so, but at this point, we would have stopped something take place. But we're going to follow this through, and I am going to get scammed. So I can choose how much I want to withdraw. We have all these warnings here on the platform to make sure that customers, are acknowledging that if they're sent to the wrong address, they're not recoverable. We have other warnings in place when when we have high volumes of scams going through, to make customers just stop and think, have you been provided with an address? Have you been provided instructions on sending cryptocurrency? If so, reach out to us. So we have a big support team ready to help customers at all stages of their trade, because the only people we really want are the people who are there to trade, keep the money themselves. They can keep it on the platform. They can send it to a personal address. We just don't want to see our customers losing money to scams. So I'm going to send out my whole amount, including the fees. So I've got Bitcoin. I'm sending it to my MetaMask. I'm going to select a reason. This is our final control, because we will see, people that are legitimately just trying to send it to a personal wallet. These are other controls that we have in place. So if you're instructed by a SwiftX agent, we will never ever do that. But some scammers will pose as SwiftX agents to say, send cryptocurrency because your funds are unsecured. We'll have all of these other options. Some of them are legitimate. Trading on another exchange, that could be legitimate. For my employment, we see a whole lot of employment scams, so that helps us there. Paying for ransomware. Some people will click this for fun, which is an unusual way to have fun, but people do it anyway. But for this, I'm just going to click transferring to a personal wallet, because I've reached back out to my scammer on WhatsApp to say, what should I be doing? What should I be doing? And they've said, make sure you just choose this. So we'll continue. Now I've just been prompted with a code, so I'm just going to pop that in so that I can send it. And done. So now the scam has taken place. The funds have now left SwiftX, but all is not lost, because if the customer comes to us and lets us know that they have been scammed, we can trace the funds. There's a lot of block explorer tools that we can use. Companies like Chainalysis, TRM Labs, they all have really advanced tools for us to be able to follow the funds from place to place. And if we need to, law enforcement can get involved and eventually find out where the scam funds end up, and in some cases recover them. So that is the scam truly taking place. We've seen the WhatsApp conversation. We've seen the instructions on what to do. We've now followed the instructions, and those funds are now no longer on SwiftX. It does say that the portfolio value is there. The transaction just hasn't been confirmed on the blockchain yet. But does anybody have any questions in the last few minutes that I have?
Calum, I have some questions.
Yes, please, Amy Rose.
So Alex did mention that there's some impersonation scams happening. How's the best way? Because for a consumer to really to be able to distinguish between someone from a digital currency exchange and someone who's just sent a text message, because I get multiple text messages from, I believe to be scammers, who are sending text messages, different emails, alerts that someone is trying to access one of my wallets or one of my accounts. How does SwiftX manage that? Do you send text messages? Do you send emails? What are the things that you do that perhaps a scammer wouldn't do, or vice versa?
No, yeah, that's a really good question. I mean, we do send texts and we do send emails, and I guess us and other exchanges have seen rises in scammers trying to use techniques like even spoofing phone numbers to try and appear more legitimate. What we always say to our customers in any kind of method of communication that we can have with them, whether that's phone calls, which are something we also do to proactively prevent scams, any kind of communication we have with our customers, we'll always try to reiterate to them, if you receive something that you are in any way suspicious about, log into the app, reach out to us in the live chat, and we will have a record of every single communication we've ever sent to you or attempted to send to you. And we'll tell you if it's legitimate or not. And we'll also get them to send us screenshots of what they've received, whether that be a text, an email, a phone call, and they can send us the number. But we're very proactive about making sure that our customers slow down and take time to reach out to us. We will never have so much urgency that we need them to action something that minute that they can't take 5 minutes to reach out to us in the live chat to ask for confirmation if it's really us.
I have also heard that some exchanges, if there is a matter of urgency, that a phone, it's sometimes a phone call, or it's, just to double check, not really when a scam is taking place, but when an account is being set up in the verification process, to make sure that the person who is creating that account is the right person. Is
for sure.
Phone call happen then?
Yeah, we have a verification phone call at a couple of different stages, actually. So we've recently introduced the verification phone call for account setups for particular accounts. And we also have a verification phone call for some of our vulnerable customers if they are looking to send cryptocurrency. So we will make phone calls, and that's where we do actually have conversation with a lot of scam victims or potential scam victims. We obviously prevent the scam from happening with that phone call, but we will send a schedule, a calendar invite for the customer to book a time with us for that phone call. We're not calling them out of the blue. We are letting them choose a day and time that works for them, and we're calling them based on what the preference is. So there's no urgency. We're not calling them saying, we've got to call you right now to get this done, and then you've got to send that crypto, which is obviously something a scammer would be doing. We're leaving it in the customer's court and letting them tell us what times they're free, and we're working with them alongside that.
And one last question. I don't know if anyone else had any questions, but what does a vulnerable possible customer look like? Is there an age bracket? Is there an area, a location? How do you find it?
No, very good question. Obviously, I can't go too much into what our personal controls are, but we do have a whole series, exactly what you mentioned, everything from location to age to even behavior that we've seen on their account, because we've got so much data now of what a vulnerable customer what their behavior patterns might look like, that we can put alerts in place for someone that we deem to be vulnerable based on the behavior patterns they're displaying on our platform. That's not to say that everyone displaying those exact patterns are vulnerable. We've just seen higher chances of that customer being vulnerable and perhaps following something like I presented before with this series of messages where they are acting on guidance rather than on their own education.
And I think I think Meryl Lee might have put in the chat the National Anti-Scam Centre report, but it has been, there are vulnerable Australians, different demographics, who are more vulnerable to being scammed. So it's highly likely that yourselves and other digital currency exchanges are across some of that data as well. So thank you so much, Calum, for joining us today. That was fascinating, and we always enjoy a bit of a real live walkthrough. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Amy Rose, and thank you everyone for tuning in.